Hey guys, welcome back to the Game Plan. I'm Jeff.
And I'm Jason.
And today we are going to be reviewing probably the most anticipated movie of the year, I feel like.
One of them, I'd say.
If you just
Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix, directed by Todd Phillips, is set in a version of the DC universe, which Todd Phillips, I don't know if you know, he went to Warner Brothers and he pitched, what if we bring in directors and had them take any character out of the DC universe and make a movie out of it and label it DC Black. So they were waiting to see if this worked, and if it did, they were going to continue to go with this direction while continuing their shared universe. So hopefully we'll see some different things in the future with different directors and different visions.
Well, after tonight, I hope so.
Yeah.
Honestly, I really do. I was on the fence about it. Didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah, me neither.
After watching this movie, I feel like this is a direction that they should be going into completely. Like I said, we didn't want to call it an origin story, but this movie literally had me just sitting there in my seat probably 10 minutes after the movie. I couldn't say enough positive things about it. Great movie.
It's fantastic. The reason it's so fantastic is because of Joaquin Phoenix.
Oh, every bit of it.
There's barely any part of the film where he's not on screen.
No.
And this is like the performance of a lifetime for somebody to get. People are going to compare him to Heath Ledger and everything. I encourage people not to do that. This is his own take on this character in a different setting without a Batman. So it's different than what Ledger did, because what Ledger did was still incredible. And what Nicholson did was incredible. And if even whether you like him or you don't, Leto did his own thing in his own world. So what Joaquin Phoenix did was he took a story of a person who basically everything was working against him. And by the way, we're going to talk non-spoilers here for a moment, and then we'll get into spoilers about some of our favorite parts of the movie, and we'll probably get into some scenes that are going to spoil some stuff. And we want you to go in this movie without anything. So before the spoilers start, I will post on screen that there are spoilers coming ahead. Until we get to that point, you guys continue to watch, and then I would recommend turning it off and watching the film and coming back, because it's definitely, we both highly recommend it. We're already going to say that off the bat. It's highly recommended. So Joaquin Phoenix is great. Robert De Niro is also in this. He's like De Niro's always great, but he was on this different level of what he usually,
Yeah. He normally plays this tough guy, hard ass person in all his movies. He's this kind of laid back, leisurely acting, talk show host. He somewhat has an ego, and he gets this rise off of making people feel, underneath him. But at the same time, he kind of also face to face with those people makes them feel like, hey, I'm going to help you out here. You're coming on my show to boost your career and things like that. Yeah. I really like how what little bit of interaction he had with Joaquin Phoenix's character in this movie. I thought pretty much everybody that had somewhat of a main role in this movie was phenomenal. The acting was just top notch. I know people that were looking at this movie and thinking, oh wow, it's just another comic book movie. A lot of people cannot take those movies seriously anymore, just due to the fact of how oversaturated most of them are with like special effects, and they rely a lot on the special effects and visuals to kind of take you away from maybe a slightly watered down storyline and a few little twists and turns here and there to try to get you off course. But this movie, I felt like, was almost straight to the point, straightforward. There wasn't any curveballs being thrown your way other than maybe one situation. Yeah. And to be honest, I thought it was kind of self-explanatory in a sense when you start to kind of understand the character and what's really going on in his head. Yeah. But other than that, I just thought it was brilliant storytelling, writing, directing, acting. There wasn't anything, honestly, that I can point out that I thought was in a negative manner about this movie.
Yeah, me neither.
Really.
Yeah, I thought about it on the way home too. Like, I usually turn on my, my music when on the way home, but I actually turned off my music, and I just kind of thought on the way here, like, what what we just saw. A lot of people throw around different words about how good this movie is, but we'll get into that in the end when we score it and everything. But so without spoiling anything, I mean, the acting was phenomenal. I think every character, like you said, on screen, had any little bit of screen time, did a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Todd Phillips actually wrote and directed this movie. Like the writing was great, directing was great, the cinematography worked really well. I thought everything about this movie worked. The music was absolutely stunning. Who did the music for the movie? I'll have to look it up.
Certain little parts when he kind of was contemplating whether he was going to lose it at that moment, and there was these weird, odd drums.
And the score, and it would rise and slowly rise.
It almost like it played along with the scene so well, and I mean, there were times where like I was literally perspiring because I was just like, what in the hell is about to happen?
Yeah.
Because you know, just from knowing the character, like he's sick, twisted, demented, and you see throughout the movie certain things that happen. But then it's also like he has these moments too of like he can kind of calm himself down and bring himself off that ledge. And that's where I think when that score's playing, I just sat there the whole time and I was like, oh,
what's going to happen?
Is he going to snap here? What am I about to witness now? In the scene when he finally went into the full garb and they were playing the thing that I don't know what the song is. All I know is it's always played at like basketball games. Hey.
Yeah.
And he's, just dancing around, and I was just like, it was the most out of nowhere, awkward song to be playing in this movie, but it worked so
really
well, and I'm still kind of dumbfounded in a sense because me and my wife both, like, I took her to see it and I thought she was going to absolutely hate it, and she actually even had nothing but great things to say about it. I thought the gore and some of that stuff might have scared her away from it, but it didn't seem to bother her. I mean, I heard her kind of wince a few times during a few scenes, but other than that, like, it's one of these movies where I think probably in a day or two, once I finally fully processed it, I'm going to be able to like fully kind of express and be able to discuss like how I really feel about it. But I mean, it's a powerful movie.
It really is. Yeah.
A really powerful movie.
You mentioned the gore and the violence in it. I heard people say it was over the top, violence and gore. It's not. It's not a lot. So if you're going in this and you're thinking it's going to be too gory, too violent, don't worry about that. If you can handle a little bit of it, you're going to be fine. Because, I mean, I know some people can't handle any of it. There is some of it in it, but it's not over the top. There was a specific scene where they could have shown you a lot more than they did. And they didn't. And then, like, they pulled back a little bit, which I was like, oh, that's kind of classy that they pulled that back a little bit. Because they could have went just all out. So if you're worried about that, it's not too bad. Just remember that. And the language isn't that bad either. I was expecting a lot of it, but it's not really.
I do want to say, because we are in that season at the moment right now, and I know it kind of always throws me off that a lot of people that I know that I feel like they wouldn't enjoy a movie like this, then I talk to them, they watch American Horror Story, and the things that I see on that show now, this movie doesn't even come close to that. So if you're a fan of that show,
you'll be fine.
You'll definitely be fine.
Absolutely.
Because that show pushes the boundaries of TV in itself, and I don't understand how they get away with some of that stuff. And I don't think there'd be one element of this movie that would be shunned or told you can't do that on that TV show alone. So, yeah, don't let any of the violence or anything like that push you away from this movie. I mean, there is some, but it's nothing worse than what you would see on that show alone.
Yeah, and there's other shows like that have been on other like cop shows and that have been on cable and stuff that have shown a lot worse.
Yeah.
We've kind of talked non-spoiler a bit, and this is the point. I think we're going to discuss some specific scenes and specific things that happened.
Let's spoil it for them.
Let's do it. So, spoilers ahead. You're warned. If you don't care, keep watching. If you do care, just stop this and come back after you've seen it, because I don't.
The off button.
If you really want to see this movie, do not let anybody spoil it for you. Stay off.
Please don't.
Don't stay off Twitter. Stay off everything, because people out there are assholes. They're going to spoil stuff. Let's get into it. First of all, this does not draw from any really specific comic book lines. There are a couple things plucked here and there, and
which is what I love the most.
And just little things like the talk show stuff with Murray. The ending with the talk show with Murray was pulled from The Dark Knight Returns, which is still probably one of the best Batman stories ever told. It's not specific in that, so don't go in this expecting like, hey, this isn't what I know from the comics. You're
not getting the comics
from the beginning. This is nothing like the comics. We're going to take this character, we're going to take elements of this character and make it work for what we want to say. And they did, and it worked. The thing about Arthur in this movie is, from the beginning, he's beaten down by life. Nothing is going his way, and he's dealing with it. And he gets to the point a few times before he snaps where, like you said earlier, where the music continues to swell and you think he's going to snap and he pulls back and he doesn't. And there's a scene in the trailer, if you've seen it, where he's on the subway and he's laughing and he gets punched and kicked. You expect that to be it because he got the sign stolen from him when he was spinning the sign out in the street earlier.
Yeah,
and
he took his ass beaten and he went
did.
home.
He did. On the train, though, he did not. He had actually been given a gun earlier by somebody at work, which was, you learn later, was to set him up, basically.
Yeah, basically him fired.
And he pulls the gun out and shoots two of them in the head. And the other one that runs away, and he shoots the one in the leg, and he chases him off the subway and kills him before he can get up the stairs. And that's to the point where, even after that, there were scenes where he could have went further, and he pulled back.
Yeah. It was almost like he regretted what he'd done, but at the same time, he still hadn't processed exactly what he had done. Yeah. And he was still trying to figure out, was he mad at himself, upset at himself? Did he really understand like what he did? He really took 3 people's lives. And then when they started talking about it on TV, what I liked the most was how, like the scene when he's sitting there and he's telling his mom to stop talking because he actually wants to hear what Bruce Wayne's dad,
Thomas
Wayne. I don't know why could not think of his name. Thomas Wayne. He almost takes it as an insult. Yeah. You know, like he lays back and he just kind of laughs. And his mom's like, that's not funny, thinking that he's laughing at the situation, but he's actually laughing at the fact that they're basically calling him a coward and saying, like, you know...
Because the media says he has a mask, even though he just had clown paint on.
Yeah. That's kind of where I felt like it started to turn for him as far as he started developing into the character more. Yeah. That was one of the strongest parts of the movie for me, was whenever you finally see him, because he had this worried look on his face, like, oh no, I can't believe what I did. From that point on, it was almost like, just like when the cops approached him and asked him about he nonchalantly just was like, I don't have time to talk to you guys. You know, my mother's in here sick. Yeah. He basically lied right to their face. If you would have never known, you would have never, ever been able to been like, that guy just killed 3 people.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's how well it was done. Yeah.
Because they approach him on a bench outside of the hospital. He's smoking, and his mother just had a stroke. You can kind of see that from that perspective, too. It's like, okay, this guy's just upset. You know, let's let him, you know. Because you don't think, if you didn't know, you wouldn't think that he was the guy that did what he did. And he never really, like you said, processed it. And I mean, until later in the film, he does process it and realize that he did enjoy what he did. And he's not sorry about it. Like, he thought he would be, but he's not. Like, he thought about it. Is there another scene that, when you think about this movie, you think about immediately?
Hands down, my favorite scene, because of just how just absolutely dark and beautiful at the same time it was when he killed the guy who set him up. It seriously was the most violent scene in the movie, I thought, because for one, you know, he stabs him with the scissors, but then repeatedly bashes his skull into the wall. He's covered in blood, and then the midget, who is absolutely terrified, cowering in a corner, he's kind of like trying to comfort him, but at the same time, like, his insanity too, at the same time, sees him as a friend, and he jokes with him, you know, whenever he walks by. He's like, you know, just kidding. And then, you know, the midget can't reach the lock, and he literally has to turn around and ask him to open the door, still afraid that he's going to murder him. And the part that I love the most is he bends over and he goes, "You're the only person that was nice to me," and kisses him on the head and lets him leave. That was amazing.
It was.
He literally went from this violent rage of this guy who set him up and ruined his life and smashed his skull into a wall till it was literally just everywhere. And the one guy who was nice to him, it's not like he showed him mercy, he showed him love and kindness because he was nice to him. And he cared about him. He never wanted him to be scared. He just wanted to joke with him and wanted him to know, like, you can leave and I'm not going to hurt you. And that, I don't know, like, that just showed you the twisted, just demented mind where this character had finally come, you know, throughout the movie. That to me is the scene that's going to stick out well over anything else for me.
I want to talk, in a minute, I want to talk about the fact that he laughs uncontrollably sometimes and is a condition. But before I talk about, I wanted to mention one scene really quickly. It's after he kills the 3 guys on the subway. He runs and runs and runs and finally runs into a bathroom. And he kind of starts to, I guess, hyperventilate in the bathroom for a minute. But then I guess he starts to do, like,
It's almost like Tai
Tai
Chi.
Chi to like calm himself down, which I'm wondering if he learned that when he was in, because you find out earlier that he had been in a state hospital locked up. And I wonder if he learned that there's a calming mechanism or whatever. But the music in the scene, the camera work on him, it was just insanely beautiful for how freaking dark it was. So there are parts of the movie, especially if you've seen the trailer, where he's on the bus and he's messing with the kid, making the kid laugh, and the lady's like, "Stop messing with my kid." And he starts laughing uncontrollably, and he gives her this card. It says, "I have a mental condition that makes me laugh uncontrollably. I can't stop it. I'm sorry."
And he has this almost like asthma, like COPD type.
Yeah.
Like when he's laughing, it's like he's coughing at the same time. It's so weird, but I like that.
Yeah.
I love that angle that they kind of threw in there. It really kind of gives an idea like why the Joker laughed so much.
Yeah.
His brain was just wired wrong. When you're feeling sad or scared, he was feeling these emotions,
But he's laughing.
but something in his brain made him laugh.
Yeah.
And he had to hand this card to people to explain his condition, and that I like that part too.
I did too. And then towards the end, when he starts to actually transform into who he's supposed to be in this movie, that ends up becoming Joker. His mother is still in the hospital, and he finds out he's been adopted. He was abused as a kid, and she didn't stop it at all. Like, didn't even try. He was chained to a radiator when the cops found him. I mean, it was her boyfriend that was abusing him. And then he goes to the hospital, and he's talking to her about stuff, and he basically is saying, "You remember how I have that condition?" He's like, "I don't think it's a condition. I just think it's me. That's who I am. That's just, it's not a condition. It's normal for me." And then he smothers his mother in the hospital room. She's conscious and knows what's happening, and he just kills her. Let's just get rid of this part of my life because...
You tried to make me somebody I wasn't.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super disturbing, but part of his... Like I said, this isn't an origin story. It's more of a transformation story. He transforms. It's like from a caterpillar to a butterfly. It was a darkly beautiful transformation.
Yeah. I absolutely love the ending to when he's just completely tattered and torn, bruised, beaten all to hell. He's been arrested because he kills Murray live on TV. He's in a cop car handcuffed. They're driving him through the city streets of Gotham.
And it's just riots everywhere because of him.
Because of what he had just done on TV, murdered somebody live on TV. An ambulance T-bones the cop car, basically, killing the cop, basically putting him on the brink of death. His head's busted up, his mouth's all bloodied. He can barely walk, and these guys pull him out of the car like a fragile child and lay him on the hood. And when he wakes up, he starts doing his dance on the hood. But my favorite part is when he realizes his blood is just saturated in his mouth, and he makes the smile out of it. That literally gave me chills.
It did. It was
that part gave me chills, and the movie pretty much could have ended right there, and I would have been happy. Honestly, that's where I kind of drew it in my head. He just became my favorite Joker.
Everything about this movie, like before the scene that Jason's talked about. Earlier in the film, Murray shows a clip of him in a comedy club where nobody's laughing, but he's laughing because of his condition. And he's basically making fun of him. They get such a good response, they actually call him and invite him on the show. And so when he goes on the show, he goes in full garb, his makeup and everything. He tells Murray, introduce me as Joker because you called me a Joker on camera. You called me a Joker, so that's why I'm Joker. And they're like, why don't you just use your real name? And he basically just dismisses his name. So, and because at that point, he is Joker. And he goes out there and he admits to the world that he killed those 3 people in the subway. And at first they don't believe him until he tells them there's no punchline to this joke. This is not a joke.
Yeah.
And he goes on about society and what people like Thomas Wayne and how they look down upon people like him, and they wouldn't even think twice about him. They saw him on the street and nobody ever paid attention to him. Everything has come to a head at this point. And he shoots Murray in the head and then gets up and shoots him again in the chest and another one in the chest. And it's a very powerful scene because he starts off kind of going on as a guest, like, he's so happy to be on the Murray show. But as he's on the show, it just starts to go towards, you know what? It's time to really show these people who I really am. And it's to watch it. It's like the final part of his transformation. Leading up to this, after he killed the people on the train, people saying it was in a clown mask. You see all these people in clown masks all over the street starting protests against Thomas Wayne and the rich people of the city, like rising up against the rich and the entitled, because basically Thomas Wayne called people clowns for not becoming something, making something of their lives. So people take this personal. So after the thing happens live on the Murray show, they rise up. This is the dude everybody's been talking about, and they just rise up and riot. the scene where like they're all like, get up, when he's laying on the cop car after they've taken him out of the car, and he finally gets up and realizes that they're there because of him.
Yeah.
And then of course, like you see during the riot stuff, you see Thomas Wayne, Bruce Wayne, and Martha Wayne come out of the theater, go down an alley.
Yeah.
And somebody in the Joker, one of the masks, the clown masks, follows down the alley and kills both Martha and Thomas Wayne, and leaving Bruce Wayne alive. There's that. Technically, people who say that, you know, Joker and Batman are the same, they create each other. Technically, the Joker just did create Batman.
Yeah.
Because of what he did. He created Batman. When you saw them go down the alleyway, I literally looked over to him and he was like, yeah, this is what's going on.
Yeah.
This is where they're going. And it just everything worked about this movie. I can't say enough good things about it.
No.
I really can't. And like you said, I think maybe in like a week or two, when everything's like fully processed, hell, we might sit down and talk about this again. My brain is still going through everything.
Yeah, I definitely would go and see this movie another 2-3 times again, just with how well it was done and how much there is to take in as far as, you know, what goes on. And that's the thing, like I said, they don't really try to do a lot of subtle little sneak these little Easter eggs in on you and things like that. I mean, when they try to make a point and kind of put an arc to the storyline, they do it. And they don't try to hide it or be sneaky about anything. And that's what I like the most about it. They also just don't like blatantly kind of just throw the entire story.
Mythos,
mythos out there.
It's
just
little subtle stuff.
Yeah.
It's subtle. With his mom, she worked with Thomas Wayne years ago. She thinks that they had a baby together. They didn't. He was adopted. It was a whole delusion she made up. So when he thinks this, he actually goes to Wayne Manor and sees little Bruce Wayne, and he starts interacting with him through the fence, and Alfred comes out and stops it. In the trailer, they didn't say it was Bruce Wayne, but a lot of people are like, I bet that's Bruce Wayne. And then you're like, yep, that's Bruce Wayne. So he already has an interaction with Bruce Wayne, and now he has something against Bruce Wayne because he's not in that situation, and he is. Is there any other scenes you want to talk about, or are you ready to score it?
No, I really don't think there's anything more that I feel like I need to add. I mean, honestly, those scenes alone are powerful enough. That's what just like stuck to me. It's I'm ready to score.
Before we score it, what did you think about the woman that played Domino in Deadpool 2, Zazie Beetz? She's in this movie.
Yes.
For a while in the movie, it looks like they're in a relationship. They've hooked up. They went on a date. She's there comforting when his mom was in the hospital, and then later you realize that never happened. Like he made it all up in his head.
And me and Molly actually talked about that because she asked me, did he dream all that, or was he
making
that up in his head? I said, I was thinking that just due to the fact that love interest happens so quickly. He just opens the door and just immediately starts making out with her, and next thing I know, they're like a couple. They're walking down the street. You know, she's comforting him during his mom's stroke, this and that, and I don't know, for some reason I have a feeling he's just imagining all this. But I also felt that way whenever he killed the 3 guys. There were certain things here and there where it just started making me question, is this all an illusion? And then when it finally comes out that she, you know, when he comes back into the apartment and he starts like feeling things on the wall, like the little girl's paintings. And
when he goes in her apartment.
And he's walking in her apartment. That's when it hit me. He was imagining that.
This is all
like,
make believe. Because she comes out of the bedroom and she's like,
terrified.
Who are you? I don't, get out of my. Oh wait, you're the guy that lives on the hallway. Can you please leave? But it was really powerful the way they did that, and the fact that he imagined all that. But it makes you question what all was in his mind.
I feel like that was the only thing that was keeping him from going over the edge, was the fact that he had this girl, at least in his head. It was somebody he cared about and loved. And you saw how happy he was when he was in her presence. And I felt like there was all those times when he could have snapped, lost it, turned into the psychopath that he ends up being way earlier in the film, if it wasn't for him honestly believing that girl was there for him through all that. And then to come and find out, I think when it finally hit him that he was like, oh, she wasn't there. I just imagined all that. Then it really kind of sunk in, and that's when you started seeing just this I don't care attitude anymore. I thought that had to be there. She played such a key role in that movie as well, and it really wasn't that big of a role.
No, but it was enough to...
But it was enough to make sure that character didn't, just fall off the cliff right at the beginning of the movie. Just because he met her in that elevator.
That's right.
So
we're going to give this movie a score now out of 10. That's how we do it on this channel. Out of 10, I'm probably going to guess what you're going to say because I'm not going to say the same thing. But out of 10, what are you going to give this movie?
It's hard for me to ever give a 10. I mean, I don't know if there'll ever be a perfect movie. I mean, it's just, it's one of those things like when you get your yearly evaluation at work, and out of 5, they're scared to give you a 5 because then they feel like you're just never going to try to better yourself.
Yeah, exactly. They have to give you like a 4.8 or something. Like that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
You kept me from getting an extra 15 cents raise. But no, I mean, it's hard to give a movie a complete 10, or 10 out of 10, I should say. I would give it a 9.5 easily.
Yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I don't really feel like there's much that they could have improved on in this movie.
No.
I thought as far as the way it was shot, the way everything was written, obviously Joaquin Phoenix deserves every damn accolade you could possibly get
Just
for
give
this
him
movie.
everything. Just,
He crushed it. You know, I know people probably will still think this, there's no way this a comic book movie can be that good.
It's not a comic book movie.
It's not.
It's a character from a comic book. It's not a comic book movie.
Yeah.
Don't go in there thinking this is a comic book movie at all. Just don't.
No.
So you're not going to get Marvel jokes the whole movie. So
No.
I would say 9.8 out of 10. I've only given one movie a 10 out of 10 my entire life, and I probably will never change that.
Ernest Goes to Jail.
Exactly. Actually, Ernest Scared Stupid.
Oh, sorry. Ernest Scared Stupid. Yeah.
Actually, the only 10 out of 10 I would probably give would be Empire Strikes Back. That's the only movie I would give a 10 out of 10. This is right there, though. It's
Okay.
right. It's so close. 9.8. I don't like to do 10 out of 10s either. I don't know if we ever did a 10 out of 10.
I never
I
gave
think
one.
we did.
I've
No,
never
I
given
don't
one.
think We've done 9s and 9.5s and stuff. Yeah, I'd say 9.8. There's nothing I would change about it. There's nothing I would say like, oh, that should be better. This would
No.
be different. This would be different. You should do this better. No. Can't just say it.
There's literally not a single thing that I could think about that I would change about this movie. I mean, I'm going to be stoked when this movie comes out on digital release because I'm going to get it like the first day that it comes out.
Yeah.
I used to be so excited when movies would come out on DVDs. I'd be the one waiting at 8:45, for Best Buy to open so I could hurry up and grab my copy and get my butt home and watch it. And I don't find myself doing that a lot lately, but this is going to be one of those movies where I'm going to be like chomping at the bits for it to come out so I can just own it and be able to watch it at my leisure. Yeah, there's not a single thing that anybody could do to make this movie any better than what it was already, where it's at, easily.
And that is our thoughts on Joker. We could probably talk about this for another 2 hours, and I wouldn't be surprised if in the next couple weeks you see another video of us talking about stuff we thought about or wrote down. Like, I want to talk about this some more. I want to go into this more. When this movie comes out on digital, we'll do an audio commentary for it, and we'll probably do another discussion for it. Unlike you, I used to be the same way with movies. I am a little bit nowadays because a lot of the Best Buy exclusive 4K steelbooks, if they're a good movie, good enough for people to buy a bunch of them, they sell out quick. And if you're there maybe the next day, you're like, too bad, sold out. Yeah, I'll be there for that one.
Oh, easily.
Yeah, I'll probably pre-order online for sure.
Yeah.
So that was our review of Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix and directed and written by Todd Phillips. We highly, highly recommend it. Go see this now. Go see it now. If the theater's not open, just wait until it opens and then go and see it.
Yeah.
But we'll be back soon with more videos for you guys. We do appreciate you watching.
Thank you.
If you're new to the channel, please hit the subscribe button. If you're a new subscriber or old subscriber, please hit that bell for notifications so you can stay up to date on all the new content we get out to you guys, especially during October with all of our 31 days of Halloween content that's coming out.
Yeah, you're putting in some work.
Yeah,
Jeez.
quite a bit.
Jeez, man.
We do appreciate you guys. Every time you guys like or comment or watch, you guys are awesome. We do
Puts a
appreciate
smile
it.
on my face, for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We do appreciate it. So,
Yeah.
hope you guys have a great rest of your week, weekend, whatever. And
Happy October.
yeah, we'll see you guys soon.
All right. Later.
Later.